What is up, y'all? It is Sierra going solo, it looks like tonight. I haven't heard from Wes. I'm not sure what's going on, but sometimes that happens in life. We are still here though. Crypto or More does not leave you hanging, and I am here. Please hit the like, subscribe for all your favorite stuff. I don't do the intro as good as Wes. Never really claimed to. So yeah, I just kind of want to jump right on in. We got too much panic going in the markets right now. Is it time to quit? Is it all over? Is it the bear market? Was Wes correct? Maybe. So far, it's looking like he was correct about what we're getting into. So we've got to share my screen here. Let's share this other screen. Give me one sec, guys. Boom. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's not enough for me to panic yet. It's really not. I know that some people are. Something interesting I want to dive into real quick on Robinhood. This is an actual screenshot from portfolio screenshot at 9:30 in the morning. And of course, this is crypto related, but 9:30 in the morning, just to show you guys that I don't think it's you guys. I think it's Wall Street doing this ETF stuff, playing games. But I have some interesting news. I have some positive news about the quote unquote bear market. So I think you guys are going to find this very interesting. But just to jump in this real quick, you can see this at 9:30 on the daily. If you're into stocks, you know that 9:30 is the time of day that stocks open, Monday through Friday. So at 9:30 in the morning, all the floor traders, all the ETF traders, all the boomer traders, Wall Street, they go live. Boom. What happens? This is what happens to crypto. As you can see, right at 9:30. I mean, yeah, you had this little V right here, but right at 9:30, you see this. So, is Wall Street dumping? Yes, Wall Street's dumping a little bit of ETF. That's the bad news. The good news, I got to change this screen here. The good news is that, is Wall Street going to dump so low that they let everyone really panic? I'm sorry, I know that screen's really bright. Hold on a second here. Is Wall Street going to let us go into the same kind of a bear market that we have before? And that's where I'm tying into the good news. From the charts, I know there's not a whole hell of a lot of good news. It's not looking great. However, if you guys have been following us, you've been following the Remora, we have showed you guys how to open up shorts, okay? And, you could be shorting all the way down. Now, I say all the way down. What do you mean all the way down? Well, depends on where your floor is for this bear market. Crypto Jeb is one of the brightest minds. He tends to think that there's a lot of buy orders at 70K. I agree. I think that's a very realistic target. And to be quite honest, I'm surprised that we've been holding up here without shooting down violently. It looks like they're going to do a slow bleed over the holidays. They're just going to kind of let us trickle down, and it's possible that the bottom of the bear market, we do go to 70K if we're in the bear market. Now, I want to look at total global first. I want to get a bird's eye view of the entire market before I even try to look at Bitcoin. And if you guys are in the chat and you do have some questions or some comments, let me know, please. Let's look at total global real quick. All right, so this is the all-time. Let's look at the weekly. Okay, slow and steady downpour on the weekly. Let's look at the 2-week. Scooping down. Okay, so we've lost 3 trillion. We know that. 2.978. That's interesting. 2.978. Let's see where we're at real quick. 2.978. So we're currently starting level. Let me go back. I'm sorry, guys. I had to look at this number. CoinGecko doesn't show you that number. You have to go back. 2.978 trillion is the level that we had a little bounce at before. And it looks like we're testing that, give or take a few. Let me go back here. Sorry. Monthly. Yeah, so on the monthly, you can see 2.978 was a level we were hoping to kind of hold. We've fallen below that, so we've broken that. So now I'm looking at the next target. So let's go to the 3-month. Let's see where the next down target is. Looks like we don't. 2.978, 2.989. Yeah, we're making new lows on total global. So total global is all of the money in crypto. Money is exiting crypto. I would not, guys, I would not be panicked right now over this, though. This is just the whales doing whale games as usual, and this always happens during a quote-unquote bear market. But the argument to be said about this bear market, okay, there's two sides to this coin now. The first side is that Wall Street is involved in crypto, and everyone knows that. The upside is that bigger money's coming into play. The downside is that bigger money's coming into play, which means these guys are assholes. Wall Street doesn't care about your feelings. They never have. It's not going to be any different in crypto. Crypto was already ruthless. So the fact that Wall Street is now coming into crypto, yeah, it's going to be a little more ruthless. However, the good side is Wall Street really going to let Bitcoin crumble down to nothing when they're trying to sell their ETFs? Enter the psychological Wall Street gameplay of the whales now. See, normally in a bear market, you would look at the previous resistance and say we're going there. So 2.7, excuse me. Let's see what the previous resistance is. Let me zoom in a little bit. The last tops were, hell, I could zoom into both of these tops and check it out. Let's look at both of these tops. Okay, so both of these were the previous resistance. Right here you got 2.830, which is right below where we're at, guys. So although it looks terrifying on the daily, we've got previous resistance here that we could be touching. We could be coming down to touch this. Or hell, market makers could even let it slack down a little. You got some room. You got some room in between there. Do I think we're going back down here? Absolutely not. 1 trillion would bring us down way bear market levels. Now, could they bring it to that level? They could, but I'm expecting a bounce around here. I'm expecting some sort of major market bounce at some point over here around 2.775, let's just say. So we've got quite a bit to fall before we get a little bit of a bounce. Thinking about opening a short, possibly. It's a little tricky. You know, this chart's not really going to be great for that. You can see that we are starting to get a slight bend and a scooping motion going on, which I like to see when it's for a recovery bounce. But the bounce is not going to be all that glorious. The bounce is looking like we may come back up and bounce at 3 trillion, being that we're under that now. But that doesn't really help you guys for short-term price action on Bitcoin. It's just giving me a bird's eye view of the market. But you can see, I mean, look at this. We're at 2.957. We're still at $3 trillion market cap. So it's not hideous. I mean, I'm surprised if this is the bear market. I'm surprised that we're still at $85,000. I mean, the way Bitcoin used to behave in a bear market would be dramatic. I mean, you'd fall dramatically, and people say, "Oh, well, we were at 126, now we're at 85. That's dramatic." Not really. I mean, it is, but it's not as violent as you would think it is. But anyway, let's see what we got going on here on the max chart. I wonder if I zoom in here. Let's see what that does. Very interesting to see where we're at right here. Previous support here, 83. Look at this. This is an interesting level here. So you got this little drop took us. You see, drop was very short-lived. Let me zoom in a little further here to see that. Okay, so this little drop back in April took a fall down to 70 76 and was immediately scooped back up and went to the upside at 76. So most people say, well, that's such a small little level. Why would you even pay attention? It wasn't that small because it made the charts. Okay. If it made the charts on that chart and you just had to zoom in a little bit, it was a significant enough purchase of Bitcoin for the rest of eternal time. Some saw the price there and bought it and it pumped up right there. So even though it's a small little blip, you have to pay attention to that because that's either a lot of people that bought, or B, it's one rich prick that bought. And you no offense to any rich people out there. I don't mean it like that, but the thing, you get my point. It was significant enough. I guess it's close to a $10,000 range again, but very tight range. So the short, let's say from 8,000 down to 3,000, because it could do that shit in a day. See what I'm saying? The movement of Bitcoin, it's no longer a speedboat. Bitcoin is now a little bit of a ship, and it's like moving slower to turn around. So if we are falling, it, excuse me, you can see we did go up to, wow, 90 and fell down to 84. I mean, that's still, hey, did you see Bitcoin? You know, when you start getting phone calls and you haven't watched your chart, you're like expecting something crazy. And I said, well, where are we at? And my buddy's like, oh, I said, we're at 85. I said, wake me up when we hit 70K. That's not to say we're definitely going there, guys. I'm just saying, like, this is downward, but it's a slow, controlled downward. Is it enough to start shorting and making money? I think so. I stopped trading the last couple days just because I needed a break. It was too choppy, and it always here from 8 down to 84 ish. So to me, you're going to get some. You're going to chop a little bit, which means, is there money to be made in here? Monthly chart killing me, guys. What's been killing me? Everyone says bear market, bear market, bear market. Look at this monthly chart. You could draw a freaking line up here. It's range. Who's to say we don't go from 85 right back up to 92 again? And just, this is accumulation. In other words, you say, oh, bear market, to a slightly lower level. In other words, what if these whales are just accumulating at levels, taking a range, and then they drop down to the next range, and then they accumulate for a while? If you call that a bear market, that's fine. It's a bear market because it's going down. But if you're new, if you're trying to make money, don't look at it as bear market, bull market, price down bad, price up good. Don't look at it like that. Look at it as, is this a good time to buy? Is this a good entry? And the answer is yes. Anything under $100,000 Bitcoin is still a great entry. Now, can you get a better entry? You probably can. So, you know, I would look for these. I would scoop a little bit of Bitcoin that, we're not going to ever go back down lower, because we could absolutely go lower. That being said, we could also go back up to the top of this range. So it's going to be days coming up. You got a new year. You've got people taking tax write-offs for their losses. A lot of Wall Street stuff going on. A lot of crazy stuff. Macro. I'm not going to get into the macro. at 82. One, two. If we come down to the 82 level, very interesting to see. People would say it's over. If we fall to 82, you watch. Everyone's going to be screaming news. Bitcoin's over. It's never going to 100K again. And watch a double bounce happen and then bring us up to 100K. Because right now you got to watch these Wall Street traders, and I think that that's what's going on. I think there's a potential to see a double bottom at 82, and then us to go up to either this level here, which is around 92 again, or if we really get some gusto, bring us up to the $100,000 level. So that's one thing on the table, potentially going to 82 and then getting a double bottom and going back up short term. It'd be good to trade, but you do have to be very careful. Let's zoom into this range again. 93K and a line down here at say 85, right where we're at, between 85 and 92, 93. You could have just been trading this range for the past 3 months and you would have done okay. Like every time it comes down here, you buy a little. Every time it goes up here, you sell a little. Every time it goes down here, you buy a little. Or longing and then putting in a short. Daily and on the minute chart, 3-minute chart. I've just been trading to get my trade skills better. But back to the DCA thing, I think it's more important right now. If you're a noob, if you just bought the top and you're a noob, I feel sorry for you. I really do. I really do. I don't like that's lagging. You're telling me it's lagging? Not good. I got full internet. They say 5G internet. I got 5 bars. I apologize for that. If it's lagging hardcore on you, let me CoinGecko lags like a bitch too. Let me try CoinMarketCap, see if it's not as laggy. Actually, let me close this and try it on this window here. Windows don't make it any better with their freaking updates. Let me try to fix that. Fear and Greed's at 21. That's pretty crucial. Let's try this. Let me see if I try this. See if it's a little better. Minimize this. All right, let's see if that helps any. Looking at prices, 85, 2,800 ETH. Where's Solana at? Still at 118. Let's see where Hype's at. $22. Wow, so Hype took a major drop. I think Wes said something about this. There was an unlock. So he did warn us about that ahead of time. So you're looking at $22 Hype. That's pretty good looking. Pretty interesting. Let's pull the Hype chart up and see what else is going on here. Again, this goes into the bear market. Should we sell everything and then try to buy back in? I think that's very dangerous for this cycle market. I think you're going to see a tremendous amount of trading that happens down and up. Like crypto's not going to be as volatile as it was in the beginning with like major moves in one day. So that it's going to move a little slower, but there's still going to be major moves. Like you're still going to go from 126 down to 100, and then from 100 down to 85, and then maybe from 82 back up to 100. But see, there's money to be made in those moves too. So very interesting to see Hype. Okay, you had a little bit of a drop right here. $22. Let's see where this is. Okay, so this goes back to kind of what I was saying before. You had definitely, you could see this head and shoulders up here. You could see that head and shoulders, which target would put us right where we are. Very interesting to see previous resistance was here at the peak of it was at 32. However, look at these tops, 25, 25, 26, and then you go here, you got $23, right? $23, $24, $23, $23, $24. So if you look at all this trading and then you go over here to Hype and you go, where are we? Oh, we're at $23, $24, $22. We're back on, we're testing this as previous resistance, flipping it and testing it as support. So if you panic now and you sell everything and you get out because of bear market, you could get wrecked on this next move. There's a potential that I do think we correct up. We haven't had it yet. We haven't had the correction up. I'm not saying it's guaranteed either, but I'm just saying you've got to be very careful selling out, because if you're swing trading or if you're trying to trade it all, you could get destroyed. Better off to DCA is what I would imagine would be better. GMB, let me know if that's a little better. I'm trying to minimize windows here. And this is still not the new laptop. This is the old school one, guys. I promise we invested in TCR a little bit, and we've got some cool shit coming up for you. But we're not 100% ready yet. But it's getting there, I promise. We're getting a lot closer than we ever have been. Thing to see Hype. If Hype holds here. If Hype does not hold here at $22, $23, you've got a whale blip right down here where a whale was paused at $19. That's not enough to get you excited. Here's a whale blip over here at $13. Now that's exciting. $13 Hype. Here's another whale blip. You could see a very small blip here on the radar, very small blip. That's a whale blip. That's someone with a lot of money or a lot of people deciding at one point. I doubt it's a lot of people because the volume is low. You see low volume right there. You also see low volume right... Stop putting it in my way, damn it. You also see very low volume right here, which tends to tell me it's one whale that's saying, hold up on the price. Wait a minute. I'm going to buy some, or I'm going to sell some, or I'm going to control the market right here. So very interesting to see whale blips at $13 because they don't... Hype won't last at that price is what I'm saying. It's a very quick move. If it does hit 13, you're going to see another correction back up to 16. So if it goes overnight, let's say Hype's at 22. Let's say Bitcoin decides to go down, right? Then you could see it hit 13 for like an hour or two, and then it would probably run back up to 16. So these are the swing trades you could miss if you're just selling, or you could get wrecked because you could try to sell out right now and then catch the drop down at 13, and then you buy back in and try to sell at 16 and then you miss the mark. I mean, it's just very risky to try to trade swing trades right now. I would say look at your ranges, dollar cost average the coins you like, and get ready for the biggest bull run in history. If that was the cycle, 126 was the cycle, I don't even want to begin to say how boring of a cycle this was, because none of the indicators hit, nothing maxed out. That was a trash bull run, if you call that a bull run at all. I guess not from 15,000 to 126. That was not trash. That was significant from the bottom of the bear to the top of the chart. But I don't know. 126, I still just... Either that or my theory of saying that we're behind one cycle because of COVID. It just proves true, because 120, we should have been at 120 in 2020. Then, my mark of 275K, that'll be on the next cycle, which is stupid because it adds up with TA that's where we should be. All bets say that we should be running up there. Now, if you look at the timing of the Bitcoin halving cycles, I get it. You say, well, in October we peak and then we fall. But here's the thing. If we're falling and we got buy orders at 70, we're at 85 now, we're going into the holidays. How long of a bear market? Are we going to go down for a year is it going to take 1 year to go from 85 down to, say, 70 or maybe a little lower than that? Would it really take a full year of that with all the shit going on with ETFs and everything? I don't know. I think it's old whales selling to new money is what's going on. I think it's a transfer of Bitcoin going on. And then people are still speculative. They don't know what Hyperliquid is. They don't know what Ethereum is. Wall Street has no freaking clue yet. Some of them do. But the majority of Wall Street investors and stock guys don't They have no freaking clue what crypto even is, what it does. And so it's one of those things, you know. No, coin market cap. I just want to see crypto. Okay, there we go. Let's look at some prices here. 24%. So, and another way to look at this, guys, when you open it, just to give you some hopium, when you open your charts, don't say, oh, everything's down. Look at your 24-hour and read the percentage down, 4%, and say, oh, well, you know, if you are XRP Army, you know, whatever, 4%, it's higher than these are. So, you know, DCA a little bit. Try to do what the whales do. The whales buy in amounts all the way down. That's how the rich money does it in Wall Street too. So if you believe in XRP and you see it's down 4%, is down more than the other coins, buy a little bit. Make sure you're not buying a ton. Like my buddy said, well, you buying now? No, I'm not. Because I think that we're going to go a little lower. Now, I might trade a little. I think we get a correction. I might open some swing trades that I might sell, right? But as far as am I going to go all in at 85? Absolutely not. Because I think there still is room to go to the downside. Now, does that mean not to DCA? Hell no. You know, if XRP is down on the weekly 12% and you believe in XRP, you know, you can scoop a little bit. It's not a bad buy entry, but just save yourself a little cash on the side to where if we drop down to 78,000 or if we go to 70,000, then you buy a little heavier, right? So keep dollar cost averaging as we go down. Save enough cash on the side to where you can do that. That's the best strategy to build your portfolio up. That way, when you go into the bull market, which I still believe is coming, when we go into the extreme top, because that was not the top. I guess I'm in denial. That shit was not the top. 126. I want my money back if that was the top. Okay? I want my money back. But you know, Solana went down to freaking $8, and I told Wes to go ape shit and buy as much of it as he possibly could, and I think he did, and I think he did very well. He bought some, and but am I at those panic prices where I'm like, wow, this is a fire deal? No, I'm in DCA mode right now. This is just a little teaser. So don't go all in right now if you're trying to buy coins based on how far they are down, but you can DCA a little bit. Cardano down 4%, looking at 34 cents. Let's see here. Hedera down at Vaults right now because they're just so bled out. I mean, Polkadot at $1.74. I mean, people are panicking saying, is this shit dead? Is crypto just dead? It's completely over with? No, it's not. It's just total global market cap is leaving, money is leaving the space a little bit. But it's the holidays, guys. You've got Hanukkah, you've got Christmas, you've got Kwanzaa, you've got all these holidays, which means you got people with families, you know, maybe they're not wanting into the risk shit right now. And or maybe they're trying to make that 4-year cycle in your head, just say, okay, bear market. And or maybe it is really the bear market, and this is just all according to plan, right? Maybe that's what it is. Arbitrum down at 17 cents. See, now, this is on the weekly, 17% down, 5% down on 24-hour. So I would DCA a little harder into Arbitrum, but I personally I love Arbitrum. So, but I would not go all in because like I said, there's still room to go down. Say chain breaking below 11 cents. We're definitely headed toward bear market vibes quickly. And in their mother, you'll see this fear and greed jack all the way up here. And then you'll see people going nuts again, going, we're going back up, we're back. You know, that's what I'm saying. Be prepared for that shit because that's about to happen. The Wall Street's not done trading. You know, they're going to be trading this. And DCA is the name of the game right now. How well you can DCA on the way down is the name of the game. That's how you're going to go into the next bull without being behind. In my opinion, that's the best way to do it. Who's selling? I'm buying. I hear you. I hear you. If you saw that post, it just went down to oblivion. I mean, Wall Street's got an ETF for Solana, and I love Solana. I'm not talking shit. But let's call a spade, right? Solana is home of the shit coin and scam coins and rug pulls. I've been rug pulled more times on Solana than I have anywhere else. Now, I've made good money on Solana too from rug pulls, you know, quote unquote shit coins. So, but it's like the casino. Solana is that. Now, does Wall Street give a crap about that? No. So Wall Street's putting a Solana ETF on the freaking market. They're going to sell these boomers Solana ETFs like, oh, this is the future of finance. No, it's not. It's the future of shitcoins. It's a great DeFi platform. Solana's fast. It works. It's exciting. The graphics are cool. It's easy to use. It's great for beginners. For all those reasons, I love the experience I've ever had. It was Solana. Now, Arbitrum is like the Doogie Howser of DeFi, and Solana's like Homer Simpson, if that makes sense. Like it's a joke. It's stupid and funny. So a lot of people love Homer Simpson and Simpson. They love that shit because that's Solana. That's what it is. Now Arbitrum's like, you know, the beast of DeFi. It just is. I mean, if you're gonna do DeFi, that's done on Arbitrum. The governance token itself, I understand, is not doing shit. I mean, you're at 20 cents. It went up to $1. I sold, went down to 20, 30, 25 cents, 30 cents. I bought back more. Now, did I catch the bottom? No, it's still falling. You know, it's fallen a little bit since I scoot more. That's okay. Like I said, DCAing happens best on the way down. You guys got to train your brain if you're new. Train your brain into when you see red, how much red. Then start thinking, well, how much is it down? And then be greedy with your money. Say, well, if it's only down 2%, I think it might go down a little bit. So I'll just, instead of sitting on the sideline waiting completely, say, well, it's going to go down further, so I'm not going to buy any. You don't know that. You don't have a crystal ball. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know that shit either. So it's safer to say, scoop a little bit. Let me scoop a little bit here. You know, nibble at it on the way down. Pepe at 5 zeros. Pepe, however the people call it. Very interesting, man. These alts, I mean, let's just say you were to DCA from here and Bitcoin went down to $70,000 and you were just buying all the way down. People would say, well, that's stupid. Why not just wait till you get down? Because you don't know. You don't know. You don't know if it's going to. Now, if you're dollar cost averaging, it won't matter. This is a massive Head and Shoulders right here on Pepe. I mean, if this Head and Shoulders right here, and you guys forgive me because I'm using my pointer finger and drawing it on the thing in myself. If this Head and Shoulders plays out, you're looking at Pepe's going to owe people money. This is how low that bitch is going to fall. That's kind of scary, that Head and Shoulders right there. I'm not going to lie. That plays out. Holy. And if the altcoins are any zoomed in magnifying glass of what Bitcoin is, yeah, we could definitely have a nice little a little dip. So yeah, that's why I say you've got to damn it. You've got to be careful what you're doing there. Let me see if I can pull this up. If it's not going to lag. If it's going to lag, I'm not going to even bother with it because it's going to go too slow. Any coins you want me to look at, let me know. Just kind of for a few. Getting like Cryptos R Us. Of course it is. that ain't gonna do it. Yeah, it is what it is with Solana. Rather not get caught in it though. Pretty smart. Definitely smart. Why isn't that maximizing? Okay, that's better. If you guys see, this is Hangar 18 behind me. Well, let me go this way. You can see the drum set. That's the drum set right there. And then I don't know if I turn. I don't think I can turn this. It'll probably knock everything over. But I'm gonna try to turn it so y'all can see the Marshall. Rug pulled. Rug pulled like a mother trucker. We are back. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what it is. It says 5G internet at both freaking houses, and then the shit just doesn't work. I don't know if it's StreamYard or what, but it's been pissing me off. GMB, let me know if that's better. You should have. We should be back. I am very sorry about that, guys. It should not be doing that shit. Put this over here. Again, I'm not really at my home studio like I should be. I'm kind of at the Beat Laboratory. Hide vertical. I don't need to see that shit. StreamYard is putting some extra shit on here that you don't really need. Alright, so... Oh, I want that. Let me try to present, share screen. Let's try this. Seems to be working better now. I don't know what the hell happened. I apologize, guys, about that. Let's see here. So, why do they have like no picture for that? That's weird. 17 cents. So if you're seeing what I'm doing here, what the fuck? Why did it do that, dude? Oh my god, this is goofy. All right, there we go. So yeah, so I'm showing you guys Deck Screener just because we're trying to find something to do here. We got to keep ourselves busy, right? So Deck Screener is pretty damn cool. You can build your own watch list here. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Deckscreener.com shows you all the shit coins your heart could ever want. So you got watch list over here. You can manage and do a new watch list. So we'll do a new one. We'll call it shit coins. We'll do shit coins and we create list. Boom. And then we could go right there. Let's close this fucking ad. Okay, and then we can go. These are our different tabs. So we go to our shitcoin tab, and it'll bring up our shitcoin list. Now we need to add a pair. So let's look for a good shitcoin. Let's say Litecoin is a good shitcoin. Not that bad, but definitely still a shitcoin. Still in the category of shit. Do everything USDC if you can help it. Look for the highest market cap as well. Sometimes they'll try to put... Solana's such a scammer, they'll try to put fake Litecoins on there. So you got to really read that to be careful. So when you do, read your market caps on them. They even get me, like Pump, that USDC. I'm sure that's the right one. We got to add that. We're going to add that to our shitcoin list. So you click on pump.fund/USDC. You click the little star here. Go to your shitcoin list. Boom. So now you'll see that it added on our shitcoin list. We have Pump as #1, which is probably the best. Okay, add here. Let's go back. Let's say Litecoin. I don't really want to say Litecoin. Well, it is though. It is. It really is. Litecoin/USDC. Not SDC. USDC. 92 million on Solana Raydium, I guess. It's good to have your phone out to compare it on another site too, to check the price. That's how you can check to make sure you got the right one. You don't want to add the wrong shit. Sometimes that happens. This is 92 million. This says 55 million, right? LTC, which is way off. That says Binance Uniswap. The fuck? This says 16 million. See what I'm saying? You have to be very careful on even this, but so how we do that, we'll go over here and we'll double cross check it with CoinGecko. Make sure we have the right pair. Vice versa. So we'll go to Litecoin over here. Damn, Litecoin. That's our price. 92. That says $76. 74.27. Litecoin right here. 74.27. That's more like it. This is why I like to use CoinGecko, because you can actually see what you. I actually trust CoinGecko way more than Dex Screener, but I'm just showing you guys it's another tool. But you do have to be careful. You got to go through these extra steps. Market cap 5. Let's go read the view. Yeah, this one's not that great. Damn, they've even dropped the ball on this shit. You can't even type in something as major on that. I haven't used this in a while either, guys, so I apologize. This one is kind of... Look at the double D's on Sydney. This is the kind of shit coin I was telling you about, though. I will show you the shit coins. Everyone always says Solana is... Oh, it's in... This is what you buy and sell on Solana. Does this look like a high-profile investment to you? Watch this fucking thing go to $1 million. No, look at this rug pull. Wrecked. Oh my God. Wrecked. Double D's on Solana or on Sydney. Double D's on Sydney. Jesus. I mean, you guys make me sick. Can you zoom in on that? Just kidding. But yeah, look at this. Wrecked. I mean, did this thing even print a candle to fucking even open? Jesus Christ. I mean, did it even go up? Or did it just like list and just rug immediately? I mean, I'm trying to go to the 15-minute. Let's go to the 1 hour chart. Anything? Damn. Damn. So this thing got listed. I mean, Jesus Christ. This thing hasn't even fucking been out for a day, dude. Starts up here and then just boom, right? Boom. Boom. A little fake out right here. Someone had some hope again and they just wrecked. And now it's moving. And then it'll go back down to that. And then they'll open another one, guys. This is what it is on Solana. You've got to be very careful. I mean, very fucking careful. Why are these just spinning? This is getting on my nerves. This internet is shit. $401k. Rest in peace, Greg Biffle. If anyone knows who this Greg Biffle is, please let me know. I'd like to know who the hell that is. So yeah, all shit coins, guys. Really, I shouldn't even be looking at these right now. I just wanted to show you. It's kind of funny. So if you feel like you've gotten wrecked, believe me, you could have gotten wrecked a lot worse. I mean, a lot worse. Let's go back over here. Actually, look at some. Still holding right around the 3 trillion mark. Pretty impressive, actually. 24 trading volume, 24-hour trading volume is doing good. So let's look at the next moves here. Let me pull up Bitcoin. Actually, do a little bit of price targets. I still can't help but shake this. 85. 86. And this is 85. 82. There's your V. Down at 76. That's your whale blip I was telling you about. 76. Very interesting. Let's see how long this took to play out. This whole V right here. Let's see how long that took. That started, this whole V like escapade here. Because we could see this play out in the next couple days, guys. This is what I'm looking at right now. To April 17th. That's almost a month. Not quite. But let's take it closer to the actual play. So that's April 5th. April 8th. It's April. So from the 5th to the 11th. 6 days. In 6 days, you went from 83,000 down to 76. 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83. $7,000 move in 6 days, in a week. Okay, so why does this matter? I'm going to tell you why this matters. Let's go back to the 3-month chart. No, I'm not playing these stupid fucking games. CoinGecko with their ads. So maybe it's not on 3 months, on 1 month. Is that move again? It is. No, it's not. That's different. That's it right there. Look at this is a very, very repetitive pattern here with these quick V's. This is where Larry Fink and these guys are scooping, man. In these very brief moments. I mean, look at this shit. If you bought right here at 84 and then rode it back up to fucking 92 and sold, but you're doing millions of dollars. I mean, you're making a fucking killing right there. You don't even need a bear market, a bull market. You got to keep in mind that Wall Street is playing these ranges now. It's not just us playing ranges and go, oh, well, shit, Bitcoin needs to go back to 150,000 for me to make money. Not for these assholes. Look at this. From December 1st at 84K. If they put in 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, whatever, from 84, boom, back at 92 and then sold that dog. Psh, these fuckers are making money hand over fist. Excuse my French, but that's what it is. That's why I said don't knock the fact that this range right here could absolutely play out and we could run back up to 90, 92 from here. We could also dip down to 76 real quick, and that'll be the scare. That's it. It's over. We're going to fucking 70,000. We're going to fucking 50,000. Nope, not until we. My new level now is 76K to watch. From here down to 76K. If we lose 76K, then I'm gonna say, okay, now hold on to your butts. But I think if we go anywhere down towards that, be careful. In the short term, be careful, y'all, because this is a range, man. If you can't see this as a range, you're crazy as hell. Down, up, down, up. Halfway. This is your halfway mark. Okay. Back up. Staying up. Back to the down. What comes next? Up. Right there. Back to 90K. 92K. Very, very possible for this to play out. Be careful, man. Don't be, because what'll happen is if you're getting wrecked in between these ranges and you're buying and selling and trying to get back in and trying to get out and shit, Wall Street's going to tear your ass up, man. They're going to tear you up. This is chop market. Yeah, total global market's looking good too. I think so, bro. Total global holding up at 3. 3 trillion. I mean, I mean, we're just under it, 2 point. Because that does give you the indication. It looks like a downward coil, which is also a pattern I like to see. Touching previous 3.157, 2.9, same thing. What's this peak? 2.9, previous resistance, 2.9. Previous resistance, 2.722, 2.8. Might as well round that up to 2.9. Okay, 2.869 or whatever the hell it is. That's 2.9. What is this? 2.7, 2.9. And now we're at what? 2.9. Okay, so, bro, if this is the bear market, I'm just going to say it again like this. Realistically, you always have to be careful. Yes, we could always go lower. Yes, we could always go higher. Whatever. I get that. But we are perfectly retesting previous resistance at 2.9 trillion. I mean, you can't get no more perfect than that. This is the peak, 2.931. 2.931 was the peak of the last bull run. 2.971. We're still above that son of a bitch. So we got to fall down to 2.931 to touch resistance on that, which we may do. But it's not unhealthy. I mean, hell, there's still a lot of money in crypto, bro. Still a lot of money. Let's go to the 3-month. So very slow bleed on this level, then creeping down here, right? So what happens if you have a long consistent, then a little bit shorter consistent, then the next leg down is going to be even shorter, which will be around the 2.7 to $2.9 trillion level. This is a wedgie kind of forming up right here. This looks actually good. This doesn't look bad to me. I like seeing this pattern because that usually means you're starting to find a slight recovery or a scoop. You know, look how steep this was. This was steep, and it turned into a scoop right there and then bounced up. You know, this one was rather stupid shaped, and it was you know, boom, that's a little manipulation shit. But when you see this kind of angled, boom, that's a perfect bear flag, and then you're getting a scoop right here. That to me looks like a scoop, like we're going to have a slight recovery fairly soon. Just based off this chart, you know, I'm not going to bet the farm, but this is a nice shape. When I see markets shaping like that, it usually means we are going to have some sort of recovery. Even if the recovery is just back up to 3 trillion. It's not going to make your shit go through the roof. You're not going to be rich again or anything like that. But again, that just goes back to the trading. Wall Street's going to be trading this. And they're trading with millions of dollars. So, you know, where everybody's selling their Bitcoin or selling their ETH ETF and, you know, saying, well, I had a good run, but then, you know, I'm not doing it no more, whatever. Those kind of just sideways bullshit. But I would not be, my upside target's 92. My bear target 76. I don't think you'll see 76. That shit will happen at 3 in the morning. You won't catch that. That'll be all in all. Is it over? No, it ain't over. The dip's not over either. But very, very interesting, very different than the last cycle. Very different the way this thing's moving, the way it's playing out. A lot of ranges in this cycle. So be careful, like I was saying. The main point of this video is to show you that you're bored and you're looking at your portfolio. This is the time for you to start getting into trading, dude. Hop on lighter, you know, hop on Hyperliquid, jump on Arbitrum's got some great dexes. Jump on GMX. You know, if you guys never been, I think it's app.gmx. Is it app.gmx.io? I've never been on this computer. Or not on this computer, on this profile. I think this is it. But if you're bored, you're tired of looking at your shit, dude, jump on GMX. You can long, you can short, you can great DeFi. You don't have to use a VPN or anything on this. This is 100% USA. You got your trading view charts, you know, like look at this. Here's another range, right? Boom, 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 boom. Right? Then we fell, right? Boom, we fell. But now look what's happening, man. We're totally going into, and you can even add your indicators and shit right from here. So let's type in RSI. Let's type in our RSI and put that on the bottom. You can adjust it and shit. Let's go. Let's put another indicator. Let's put VPVR. These are the ones I use. I use VPVR. I use RSI. Okay, did that not click? Oh, it's not working great for some reason. I don't know why. Not showing up as good. Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing on this one. It works on lighter. We'll remove that. That one works on lighter. GMX tighten up a little bit. Okay, so if that one don't want to work, we got some other shit we can use. Everybody uses the MACD. I'm not real huge on that. I like my Bollinger Bands. I like my 9 EMA and my 21 EMA. Let me show you what I've been trading recently. I keep my Bollinger Bands up as a way to just kind of look at my ranges and stuff. So in other words, you could see sometimes it'll cut through the middle line and then it'll tend to come down to the bottom, but it always stays along the line on major moves. And on if you have pulled up, it can sometimes at least give you an idea of, you know, when it's tightening up. Oh, there's a move coming. You know, look at this tight. When the Bollinger Bands, if you would have predicted that was going down right there, you could have rode that short all the way down. But when you zoom out, the most important thing, where are my indicators on here? I want my freaking trend lines. Why is this being a bitch? Chart by trading view, but where's my shit? There it is. Okay, you got to hit this little blue thing to pull it up. That's what I wanted. So now we can pull up our trend line. And let's just do this here. Look, like this is a good range right here. Boom. This is a nice. And how I'm getting these lines, you always see people with lines up. Maybe you don't know why they got them or how they got them. If you pretend when you draw a trend line, if somebody was going to give you $30 for every candle it touched, that's how you should draw your trend lines. So for every candle, you know, someone would give you $30 or whatever, you'd want to get the most touches you possibly could on it, right? So right there is a good one because look, you got to touch, you know, a bunch of touches here, touches here, give or take. And then that's why some people draw a zone, right? So your zone, you could draw another zone here because your market makers play zones too. So I would draw one there and I would go here because then you could get all these hits too, right? So that would be your top zone. And then your bottom zone would be like this here, right? Let's look down here. You got a decent amount of touches here. So boom. So now let's zoom in. So now you've got a couple of trend lines here. So now when you're looking at it like this, you know, okay, you traded in this zone, you fell, you broke below this top zone, you came back down, And I would even put another trend line here. Let's put another one so we have we have an upper zone and a lower zone. And this is just off the cuff, guys. I'm not going to get too radical with this. Come on, scroll over, you bitch. All right, there we go. I'll just go like that. Because I'm not going to get too technical with it. I want to do 5-minute TA with you guys. So now you've got a range, right? Now all of a sudden you got a trading range. So you have some sort of idea. You're watching your ball. So now you've got an idea. If you were to trade this is the 4-hour. We could zoom in. But if you were to be trading this, you could say, well, the market makers went down here. They traded in this range some. Traded in this range some. Now they're doing this trading in this range right here. So all bets look like maybe, you could stay in this range again for a second. But, your price target would be up here to the upside to go back up to this upper channel. It's very possible, You're kind of running into a little resistance right here, right? Which is back here. You got a bunch of resistance. So you want to ultimately see us get through this resistance here because this is tough. All the trading that happened here at this level, you got to be careful. That could cause a short-term dip back down in here. But at least you have an idea, right? At least you have somewhat of an idea. You're not just blindly looking at candles going, okay, I don't know which way it's going to go. You have some sort of an idea. Well, if it does go to the upside, this could be my target area up here, If it goes to the downside, it's probably not going to drop too hard unless, double bottom over here-ish. Or maybe come back down for a triple bottom around this area. 1, 2, 3. You're already hitting it. Maybe this is the way up. That's when you zoom into your next time frame. So if you're trading, you're on the 4-hour. Jump down to the 1-hour. Take a better look. Get a little more information, right? Still hitting this as resistance a little bit. Bands are wide open. You're kind of in the halfway to miss. Let's see. Tighten this up a little bit. Yeah, lighter. By far, lighter is the best, dude. I like GMX, but lighter is the shit. I got to be honest with you. After trading on lighter, everything else kind of sucks. All right, so, and even their trading view charts, even this chart is different on lighter than it is on here for some reason. Yeah, that's kind of why I haven't been trading, guys, because it's been a little bit tricky. I do think there's potential for a short, but in the short term, I don't think it's going to be that dramatic of a short. I would like to see us, we got to break below this level here. If we break below these two levels here, then you could catch a nice short down this ride from here to here. Right now, I would not short because you could end up back in this range and go up. Like I said, the bullish side that we come back up here or even up here again in range and chop. Because these fuckers are accumulating right now is what they're doing. They're accumulating. They're buying here. 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 Buying here. And accumulation, in my opinion. They're accumulating at these levels. That doesn't mean they won't drop it lower and accumulate again, but that's just what I see right now. Holmes, what is up? I'm riding solo tonight. Wes is MIA. And I apologize for the lag. I was having some technical disabilities. But this is GMX, guys. I mean, they've got earnings, staking. I didn't get too much into the... staking GMX is pretty damn cool, though. I will say that. If you want to do that, that's kind of cool. They used to just have a straight-up staking tab. They've changed it a little. They've changed the website some. Pretty dope little app though still. On Arbitrum, layer 2. But yeah, this goes back straight up. Look at that fucking range, man. You can't tell me that's not, you couldn't be, you know, buy, sell, buy, sell, hold, hold, sell, buy, buy. You know, if we don't drop and you long here, you know, it's that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at maybe a short-term drop just to fake out. I'd have to drop it down to the 5 minute, 1 minute, and all that shit. But you know, this is a potential. Let's okay, let me do it. We're not doing nothing else, right? Let's see if we drop down to the 5 minute. Let me zoom into this bitch. So you're getting rejected now. See our trend lines come in handy? Look at that. You had a perfect denial off of off that trend line we drew, which means they're significant. The trend lines work. They give you the idea. Now again, here's your Bollinger Bands, right? Your Bollinger Bands are opening up because they were coiled for a while, right? So when the Bollinger Bands are smaller, contract, that's when you got a move coming up, you know. And so if you're going into this move and the Bollinger Bands are coiled up, and your RSI is only halfway, you could say, well, you got a better chance of going to the upside from that. Now, you could also look at it and say the bear side would be, well, you're in a downtrend. Continuation here should be, excuse me, to the downside. But the movement of this was not good enough for that because you had a steep jump here and then a consolidation. When you see a nice consolidation like that flagging out, it's a little tricky because, yes, you were in a downtrend, but, you know, again, this is the 5 minute chart. Look at this. Let's drop down to let's just not fuck around. Let's go to the 1 minute chart. If you were actually trading this thing right now, which, like I said, I am not because it's a little too choppy for my blood. You could see the candle actually in real time changing on Bitcoin. What it's doing every minute. So each one of these candles is 1 minute. Every got different price action. So we're going to go to indicator. We're going to type in the 9, or no, we're going to go EMA. And then we're going to put another one. So we're going to make our 9 EMA up here. We go to the settings, the 3 bullets. Settings, go to settings. So that's our 9 EMA. So what we're going to make our 9, we're going to make our 9 red. We're going to make it thick. And then we're going to go to this EMA. We're going to hit our settings. And we're going to put in the 21. This is Wall Street. If you're wondering where I got these from Wall Street. This is a Wall Street trading. This is what SMB Capital teaches you to do on a Wall Street trading desk. So our 21 EMA, we're going to set as, what did we set the other one? Red. We'll set the 21 EMA, our style, as blue, I guess. Let's make it a little thicker. Okay, and this is how I've been trading, guys, just to show you. I think that one's fine. Is that the same? Okay, so the 9 EMA is red, and the 21 EMA is blue. What you're looking for when you're trading is you want to enter your trades and exit your trades around the EMA lines. The further away you are from those lines, putting a trade in is riskier. So, for example, if your 9 EMA is here, and you put a trade in, you're doing okay because you're not that far away. If you're up here, see how it's kind of further away from the EMA line? If you enter a trade at this price level, it's more dangerous because look what happened. You would have got wrecked, right? So when you're trading, at least what I've learned over the last 3 months, don't get too far away from these EMAs. You want to enter the trade. This is the money shot right here. When these two EMAs are close and you see it cross through the 9, when you see that, it looks like the 9 EMA is going to cross below the 21. But you can see what happens. A lot of times this coils up. It's close, getting close, and it's rolling. So actually now I'm getting a little more information, right? Now I'm like, okay, shit. So now we're close, but see how it's off the EMA right now? I don't want to enter the trade here yet. I would wait for my next trade. I would literally wait for the next move to get the EMA closer. So what I would do, probably have to wait a few minutes to do this, but you know, you had to break through the 9 EMA. It's just with some volume. RSI is getting a little hot. Keep an eye on your RSI. So I wouldn't want to enter my trade here because I'm already above or kind of far away from the EMA. When you wanted to enter this trade was after this red candle here, and you've seen this green wick, and you've seen this bounce through it, and the 9 didn't cross below the 21. When you see that 9 red cross below the 21, that's bearish. If you see it go above it, that's bullish, right? So yeah, you say, Nick, well, it's running now, you motherfucker. Yeah, okay, it's running right now, but watch the son of a bitch, because now it's got to cool off. When it cools off, it'll come back down to that EMA, and that's where you want to enter your trade. You want to enter your trade near the EMA if you're trading this strategy. And you know, this could continue to run, but like I said, you got prices going up, RSI is kind of going down. That's bearish. So I would have entered a short up here to try to go back down to the EMA. So what you could do, you right click right about here near this EMA, right click and hit copy price, boom. And I'd go over here to enter a limit long. I'd go to long right there and enter my limit long price, right click, paste. I'd put my trade right there. And I'm not connected on this wallet right now. I'm just showing you guys. But see, and then if you miss it, it don't matter because we would have entered here. And then let's say it continues to run up. We didn't lose no money, right? Because well, shit, it's still running up. Fine, then just close that limit order. You didn't enter the trade, but you didn't lose any money. And that sucker's running, boy. So, but this is what you can do. If you guys are bored in the bear, I'm bored. Try some scalp trading. Like I said, lighter and hyperliquid are the way to go because you're farming airdrop points. Might have to use VPN. What was that? GMB, man, have a good night, brother. Sorry about all the hang-ups. Buying quant, staking and quant fusion mainnet in Q1 of 2026, accumulating plume at these levels too. Let's look at plume, bro. What is plume? Plume. What you got, man? You got some good calls, brother. You've been talking about quant for a long time, man. Come on. Search bar ain't working. CoinGecko, you're really starting to drop the ball, bro. Excuse me. Plume. Was this it? Holmes? We got Plume USD and then just straight up Plume. At a penny. Market cap 47 million. Boy, that's a low cap. Is this the right one, Holmes? Let me know, please. It's on ETH. This is the max chart. Hell. Not bad. Let me know, Holmes. I can't tell if this is the right one or not, but let me know. Check it out, plume.org. Real world assets that feel just like crypto, transforming assets into globally accessible financial tools with true crypto native utility. I like the real world assets, man. I'm into that. The website looks a little bit um, plug and play type website, which usually you have to be careful with, but definitely something to do a little bit more of a deep dive. You're not getting much better of an entry than a penny, you know. Um, Sense. Definitely a good entry if this is something you're into. I would like to look a little more into it. If this is the right plume. Let's see. Quant. I know you told me about Quant. Massive amount of accumulation on this thing. Around $100. Like to see this joker go back down to $60 or so. Potential to go back down to 65. All-time bear over the last year, 65. Potential for this thing to go that low between 73 and 65. Decent entry. You would have had from August, let's see, if we were at the very, very top, September to October, you would have had about 2 months to get out. Stayed at the tippy top not very long at all. Week or two, but September 2nd to October 31st. That's going to wrap it up because I don't know how good the quality has been, and I'm lagging on this end, so I don't want to put you guys through that no more if that's the case. I don't know if we're streaming next week. We may be, we may not be because of Christmas and all that jazz. So make sure you guys hit like, subscribe, all that good shit. We're still working out a couple of the technical difficulties, but if we're doing it next week for Christmas, we'll see it. If not, make sure you come back after that, and we will go over some more shiznit. Love you guys. See you next.